Welcome everybody to the Resilient Minds podcast. I'm really excited to introduce to you Ken Honda today on the show. Ken Honda is money and happiness bridged together, focused on self-development, and an amazing author in Japan with your book surpassing, almost 8 million copies since 2009, and the name Happy Money, the Japanese art of making peace with your money. So I'm really excited to talk about that today with you, my friend, because I know there's a lot of money trauma in the world that I'm certain anybody that's listening uh, can really learn from. And I think this beauty that you're delivering in the world is really meaningful. For those of you that don't know, Ken studied law at Waseda University in Tokyo and entered the Japanese workforce as a business consultant and investor. And so Ken brings tons of financial expertise, comes from owning and managing several different businesses, including an accounting company, a management consulting firm, a venture capital corporation, and we were just talking about a retreat center as well that he's going off to really help other authors build and develop their best-selling books. So, having this ongoing support through mentoring programs, business seminars, therapeutic workshop, and correspondence through courses and development, I'm really excited to continue to bring your awareness to the world, my brother, and really continue to enhance what you're here to bring as a form of contribution. So thank you for being on the show, my friend.
Thank you, Eric, for a beautiful introduction. And I'm so happy to be here with you. I just finished a 3-week vacation slash my Hawaiian tour, and I'm very happy to be back in Tokyo. And I thank the technology too. We can do this. We're on the other side of the planet, but I can hear you so clearly. The only thing I cannot do is hug you, but besides that.
Soon,
Yeah.
I'm certain that we'll have tons of future experiences in the world. We'll be able to, embrace and hug each other, my brother. So thank you again. Tell us about the experience in Hawaii. What was the 3-week tour about?
I was invited to 4 different islands. I started out from Kauai and Maui, the Big Island, and Oahu at the International Convention Center. And we did a 3-day vision quest in Hawaii as well. And we got almost 80 people from all over the world, Japanese, American, Hawaiian, Australian, Indian, Europeans, and we got together to see the clear vision for 2024. So I had so much fun. So I came back with a happy energy. Probably you can feel it too. So
Absolutely. And if I may ask, what was for anybody that maybe first before I ask, if you can share with anybody that isn't familiar with what a vision quest is, what that really identifies and the importance of it for us as visionaries, as creators.
Vision Quest is this is my understanding, but Vision Quest is started by many religion people from many religions. The one I like is Native Americans in North America. They did like a 3-day, 5-day, or sometimes 4 weeks without food, and then just keep running or just meditate in the nature when you have a crucial moment in your life, and receive the proper vision and for your next step. So and we cannot do that in modern world. So I modified it and just turned it into a 3-day event. So you kind of go over your past, your relationship with your parents, and just imagine your grandparents' life, and then how they affect you indirectly through your parents. And then when you connect dots, you realize like, okay, I'm born to do this. Some people are born to teach. Some people are born to cook. Some people are born to heal. I'm born to inspire people and also help people transform their relationship with money. That's what I'm very good at. I have so much passion about. My mission is to turn everybody's money into a smiling money.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And this vision, what was the vision that you saw in that mission
Mhm.
of helping everybody achieve the smiley money, and making sure that that is grounded in action and in practicality for the people that may be listening and saying, what is smiley money?
So smiling money is the money, I call it happy money, makes you smile, make you feel happy when you receive it. Because
Mhm.
your money comes from your clients or the company that you work for, and they could have chosen somebody else, right? But they chose you out of 20,000 other coaches. And then they work with you and they decided to pay you. And if they're not satisfied or if they're upset, they will not pay you. So the money you receive is actually the result of you doing something for somebody and then receive it. So like, wow, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for doing a work with me. And then you receive money that way. And when you spend it, also you can just get upset or you can get happy about thinking all the services they did to install internet, electricity. That's why we can communicate, even though we're thousands of miles away. So when we pay bills, we have a choice. We can complain about it. I can't believe it. The electricity bill is like 30% higher than 3 years ago. Somebody's trying to rip me off. That could be one attitude. On the other, you can say, wow, and because of internet, because of electricity, I communicated with such a beautiful soul today. So I have millions of reasons to appreciate for the bill I get and then pay with gratitude. That's what I call happy money.
And it's interesting because that energy will then, as a result of uh, allowing it to go out in that state of gratitude, it will also come back in that same essence.
Yes, yes. So, uh, there are only two ways of living. You live in frustration or you live in happiness. And if you just learn a few tricks, you can always find happiness and satisfaction wherever you are in whatever you do. And your relationship is money is a base of your life. Because if you don't have a good relationship with money, you always do something or you're rushed to do something for security or just pure survival. But if you focus on that, you get frustrated and you cannot enjoy life anymore.
It puts us away from actually experiencing the presence and focusing on the experience, the traumas of the past or the narratives of the future without actually being here now.
Yes, exactly. So my key, I talk about a few points, but the key is to do what you love. If you do what you love, you don't feel like it working anymore,
Mm.
and you can focus on giving. And then if you give more, you receive more. I'm an author. I just finished a book. Um, this one came out in Japanese.
Amazing.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and it's selling so well. We already sold about 25,000 copies, and people loved it. So it's number one on many bookstores. So
Congratulations.
thank you. But this is not my first time. I've done it like
Of
uh,
course, yes.
30, 40, 50 times. So the more I contribute other people's happiness and their well-being, the more money I receive. So I can give more. So this is like a fun, interesting game of receiving gifts and then passing on to other people. So if you're good at that, you can keep doing. Or you get frustrated with your pay, you get frustrated with your boss, with the clients, your life gets deteriorated.
It sounds to me too like you become a conduit. So as a result of you following your mission, what your vision, what your responsibility is in the physical experience, you are allowing the creativity to come through you to push it out into the world and share it in that message in the way whichever is most expression and essence to you, but it's unique in your own way, and then as a result more comes through.
Exactly, Eric. So that's why I recommend people to just keep following your heart. Because if you keep following your heart, a lot of good things that happen. People will appreciate you as much as you appreciate them. Many years ago when I was working as a consultant, I divided my clients into two groups. One, I gave small gifts like a little tea, or a little book, or nothing more than $20. And the other clients, I didn't do anything. I just helped them do taxes. 6 months later, when I found out is from the group that I gave small gifts, got so many referrals. From the second group, I did so. So the more appreciation I showed to my clients, they feel appreciated. So as a result, they feel appreciated for me, and then they refer more clients to me. And that's happening globally with me, with my books. So that's why I'm telling you that this thing works. And it doesn't cost you anything. Just you can smile at your clients or co-workers or boss more. That way, your chances for getting a raise or bonus is much, much bigger.
The law of reciprocity.
Exactly.
Beautiful. I'm curious. So, based off of the vision quest that you had, is there something that you want to share that maybe you as a group had seen, or maybe you were able to see for the next stages in 2024, and what you're choosing to now step into? And as I say that, it's 11:11 here where I am. 11:11 a.m.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So, this is going to be a very interesting start, because I see a global change happening right now, as we have seen for the past 3 years. So even something big happens, we're not surprised anymore, right? And there could be a crash, or it could be economic fallout. I don't know whatever happens, but what I know is we're going to keep on living. We're going to keep on eating. We're going to keep on just helping one another. So there will be an economy in the new system. So as long as you have a strong bond with people, you need some kind of business or currency. So you don't need to be afraid of the big crash or whatever happens, because we're all gonna keep on living. So if you just do what you love and then do it well, there's nothing to worry about. So with our Vision Quest, all of us just receive like a clear vision of what we're going to do next year. So because once you find a mission, your work is not work anymore. It's just so much fun, and then you don't need to care. You don't need to care if you get paid or not. 80% of what I do, I don't get paid, but it's okay because I get handsomely from the work I do. 20%. So I don't need to pay so much attention anymore if I get paid or not. I keep on doing what I love, and that opens a new door. And my focus is keep finding new doors for me. So people just are going to help me in so many ways as I help them. So that's why I'm starting to teach internationally, which is my biggest excitement right now.
And this is what brings you to now doing also the event at your retreat center in the next
Yes.
days. So
Yes.
maybe can you elaborate on what that entails and what that looks like with in terms of your teachings? And actually, do you mind if I ask a better question?
Sure.
I would love to know what put you on this path of happy money in the first place, because I think having that core foundation understanding and then going back to why you're teaching it now would be an even better way for anybody that's listening right now to understand where it's coming from.
Right. So what we did in Vision Quest is to find the source that you had. For me, when I did my personal Vision Quest about 5 years ago, when I first
Where
wrote
did you do it?
in my hometown, I never visited where I was born for, I don't know, 20, 30, probably more
Beautiful.
years. Yeah. So after 30 years of not going back to Kobe, specific small town, I realized that the town I was born and brought up is called Kimpecho. And, I always remember the sound, of course, but that was, I was a small child. So Kimpecho, I didn't know the character, Japanese characters have meaning. And then when I was walking around the area, with a Google map, and everything has changed. But when I look at the street sign, it says Kim Pecho, but the character means money, peace, town. I was so
Mm,
shocked. What? And I found my vision there. I was born and brought up in a town called Money, Peace Town, which is the only town in Japan. And how appropriate is that to choose happy money as my theme? So I was born and brought up 56 years ago, and I was almost destined to start teaching happiness and money for me, like a peace and money. And it really blew my mind. And I've seen so many great synchronicities like that during the 3-day events in Hawaii. And that's what we're going to find in the next 3 days in my retreat resort. There will be 70 people who want to be an author. Some of them are already established authors, but I'm helping them to find their content, and your content is deeply buried in your pain mostly. And then we don't want to go back to our pain, but our biggest pain of being bullied or had a skin problem or had some relationship issues, usually your biggest gifts are buried in your biggest trauma.
mm.
So that's why we're gonna go hunt our treasure.
And do you feel like when you say when your biggest gifts, do you feel like you had money trauma as you were growing up that you
Mhm.
healed, and this is why this has become such a big gift for you?
Right. I talked about this in my vision quest so people can get what vision is like. So I was born and brought up in a very unique family. My father is a successful entrepreneur and tax accountant. And he was a very unique, he was a rebel. That's why he fell in love with Elvis Presley. So
Mm,
he dressed like Elvis Presley with a white, jacket and pants, and he had these weird shaped guitars and so loud. I was 5 or 6. So we are a musical family. But one day when I came back from school, my father was crying like a baby, and I realized that my mother took me aside and told me that my father's best friend slash his client committed suicide because of bad business. And before he did that, he killed the entire family of 4 and
wow.
then killed himself. That's called family suicide to save the shame from his family of bankruptcy. And my father was crying so hard because he had the money, he prepared the money for the family, and he strongly suggested to file bankruptcy. And after bankruptcy, he was ready to take care of his best friend's family financially. But maybe
Mm,
our parents' generation, we didn't talk much. They didn't talk. They didn't talk much. My father is like that. He's very quiet. He doesn't talk more than like 3 words, and when he's in a regular mode. So he regretted so much about not telling his best friend that he was ready to help him, and so he went into a heavy depression, and later he got very abusive. He chased me with a big sword, a Japanese samurai sword, when he was drunk. So I hated money because money turned him into a monster, and at the same time, I hated the business because business. If you deal with business in a bad way, you could lose your family. So when I was small, already by the age 10 or 11, I made up my mind. I'm going to be a success and I'm going to make sure my family is safe. So nothing bad is, is come after them. So at the same time, I searched for the meaning of life, and I wanted to have a cure for my father. And because of the quest, I started studying psychology, and also I studied about money. And later on, that became my seminar series, Money EQ. Money emotional intelligence is as much important as money IQ, which is financial intelligence. Financial intelligence is the information about stocks and investing, real estate, tax laws, and all that, right? But at the same time, you have to have this high emotional intelligence with money. Otherwise, you could make stupid mistakes emotionally, and you could lose them all. So my quest started since I was small to learn about psychology to help people achieve both financial success and emotional happiness at the same time.
Profound. And what I'm hearing too is this microcosm of your experience towards
Mhm,
money
mhm.
and business is actually extremely part of the macrocosm of how a lot of business in the past has been run based off of money and scarcity, or even a lot of fear and violence and illusion of separation. So, do you think that that type of trauma that has been so conditioned based off of so much ancestral uh, misrepresentation or ancestral trauma has been passed down to us because of the lack of awareness that our predecessors have decided to take on? Or is it just lack of awareness, and so there's uh just that people don't know what they don't know, and so I mean there's 10% of people that have that awareness and 90% of people that don't. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so it's how you want to live your life. Some people just keep on living, do whatever they can to bring food on the table. That's one way of living. But it's sort of like an animal, right? Animal eat and then die. If you're a human being, you want to find meaning in life. And I think uh, where you can find your meaning is through connections with people. When you feel like you're helping other people, you feel good about it. I think it's embedded in our psychology. So if you just try to find a meaning, you need to go back 2 generations. So because your life work is usually made of 3 generations energy. My father, who lost himself in money, and also he lost his mind because he couldn't take the depression or the sadness around money. And then the reason is that my father's father, my grandfather, died when he was 42, right after the war. If there was no war, my father could have lived in a very happy way. That would have given my father a happy childhood, and then pass it on. But because of my father died of sickness right after the war, my father had such a terrible, tough childhood. Because of that, he became very successful. Because of that, he got depressed, and because of that, I learned so many things. So if I was born and brought up in a middle class, happy family, I would never become who I am now. So I really appreciate my father and my grandfather for being who they are. And the 3 generations are making my life work possible. So the reason why I feel inspired to do this every day is that my father is watching my back. My grandfather is watching my back. They're just cheering me up from behind that, Ken, good, great, you're doing great thing because you're helping so many people, and they're part of my team. So once you know that your life has a meaning, and your father and your grandfather, our fathers, they have their role in your life. So uh, it's such a beautiful feeling that you feel supported by the people that you care about, and they love you so much.
You tap into a beautiful word here, and actually two of them, which one is feeling, which I always say if you follow the feeling, you are going the right direction, and meaning, and the
Mhm.
meaning that you give that feeling. And so when you're tapping in through now, because we chose to follow the feeling, whereas our uh, previous, ancestors or our fathers or our grandfathers, grandmothers, or mothers, maybe they didn't have the awareness to follow their feelings. So how does that become your compass when you're dealing with business and money, now when you're creating your ventures?
Mhm. So, since I was 29, I've been financially independent. So, I don't have to care so much about my daily expenses, in terms of my survival. So I have been able to focus on what I can do for other people. And and at the same time, that is fun for me. So, Eric, I'm just finding a new friendship here, right? And I'm finding another brother of mine, and I'm so excited. And I'm visiting all the people who interview me and thank them personally. And it's been so much fun. I've been going around the world 3 times now, and every time I go to Europe or India or America, Australia, I haven't been to New Zealand yet, but so many other beautiful places that I love to visit. So, uh, my passion right now is to write, is to travel, is to teach, and have conversations like this. And of course, I have a good system set up. So I have enough in financial background because of what I've written. And by the way, a lot of people were so blown away by the concept of getting paid from the past. I have done so much in the past, so my past work is paying me so much. And
Mm.
if you want to be wealthy, you have to have income from your past. And then I have a lot. So I can keep traveling. I can, giving my service for free in most cases.
Mm. I love it. And as a result, when you are uh, looking for maybe offering your services to the people that are meaningful to you, right?
Yes,
What
yes.
what do what do you look for in working with people?
Um, when I only do one day, I dedicate my day 1 day for private sessions. And
Mm.
when I talk with my clients, I always ask them questions like if you don't need to get paid, what would you do? Or what are the activities that you want to do, even though you have to pay for them, right? So those are the things that will pay you well. For me, talking to thousands of people is the activities that I don't mind paying. So that's the money I make too. So once in a while, I gather 1,000 people, and I pay for everything. People can come for free. So I always help people find that thing, and then when they find that thing, they can build a system set up. So they will just do it so freely, and then when you set up the right system, there will be money to follow you. So one of the best-selling books I write in Japanese is that do what you love, make sure money follows you.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people do the first part, but they forget the last part.
Yeah.
You have to do both.
And that's how you continue to attract it. It keeps coming.
Yes, yes. So unless you just do what loves most, it doesn't really capture the people's heart. And also, if you don't have the system set up, you do it for free, and then until your savings run out.
Yep. Yeah. This systemized process and creating the structure is part of what I find, especially in entrepreneurship. It's an important part of bringing that masculine and feminine essence into
Right.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what do you feel that maybe from your perspective that is an opportunity for the aggressive way of doing business or the very like masculine, maybe I would use the unhealthy masculine way of doing business that
Like a
has
warrior.
been, yeah.
Yeah, you need both. You need to go out and get what you want, and also you need to enjoy what you receive. So business is always in the process of giving and receiving, right? So I've trained many top sales person in many industries, and then what I realize is that there are two kinds. One, they're very good at talking. The other, they're very good at listening. So I think for example, talking, they push, 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 and they sell, and they listen. They receive, they receive, they receive. So the clients feel that they're received, and then they make a sale. So either way is fine. So if you just keep going and like a hunter, that's one way of doing business. And if you just totally receive, that is also one way of doing business. Either way, it's up to your character and what you want.
This is very unique because I don't know if a lot of people understand what you mean by the listening part of doing
Mhm.
business. So if you can elaborate on that a little bit more
Okay. Yeah.
deeper,
So,
because I think
mhm,
it's very important, a huge part that can change the dynamic of what business really can entail.
mhm. For example, just think of a health insurance salesperson. The go-getter type, they just knock on the door, cold call, and they do it many times, phones or emails or whatnot. And then the receivers are those who receive referrals. As I was talking about, they write newsletters. They just organize fun trips, barbecue parties. So there's one insurance salesperson who loves dogs. And so he does a barbecue for dog lovers, right? So they get together and they go on a bus trip. He doesn't charge, anything, just a minimum amount to cover the expenses. So like you pay only like $50 or $70 for a fun 1 day trip. And then he doesn't talk about self insurance at all, but he is loved by everybody. So, and when they find out that he's a insurance salesperson, everybody wants to have buy from him. So he does business only by referral. So there are one salesperson who just push and push and push and explain what's good about it, present it perfectly, and then they become the top sales. The other ones, they just receive referrals, and they're very good at making connections. They appreciate them, so their friends want to, I don't know, refer their brothers or sisters or relatives, and this type can also become a top sales too. So it's a totally different way of doing business, but either one works. So the powerful, strong one is if you can do both, you're like, amazing.
I agree that there's a unique way of doing it together, and then when you can really use the attraction part to your benefit, but not but, and also still be able to present yourself and express yourself with full passion and dedication, there's a new, and I really believe that that is the art of redefining business.
Mm-hmm.
And it can really create a more conscious entrepreneur and change the narrative in the corporate culture so that more people are at ease and at grace in the corporate world and really have a more happy mentality towards the mission that they're providing, the community that they're serving, and the organization that they're working with, because they know that it's all more meaningful. And as a result, they all receive. And then as a result, the whole organization receives more. What do you feel? What does this sound like to you?
Yeah. So in life there are so many ways, as I said, I'm not just teaching like this is the best way of living. No, it's like health. Some people thrive on Atkinson's diet. Others will just stop to death, right? So there are so many ways of living your life. So and you can choose your way. The most important thing is find what suits you most. So you can be more aggressive. You can be more willing to receive. Either way is fine. So, uh, and I think that could be your corporate culture. Like our company is a seminar company, but we don't push people. We just invite. We send out invitations, and we have no salesperson because all the decisions have to be made by our clients personally. So we don't need to push them or pull them or just try to talk them into selling our seminar. We just send out emails saying, this is what we're going to do. When you feel a call, please join. That's how I have been running successful business for the past 2 decades. So you can choose your own style. You can use um, internet marketing. You can use more old school marketing. Either one works. So just do whatever you feel right, and that will really resonate. Because there are all kinds of people. If you want to do aggressive people will come. If you want to do a more mellow, type of business, you attract different kind of crowds.
Yeah, you end up actually attracting who you are.
Yes, yes. So like most important thing is find your own tribe. You know,
Yeah,
they will love you.
they will love you. That's it. And this, I think, I know for myself. I don't know about you, but for so long, when I was trying to find myself, and needing to figure out my identity, uh, when I finally found it, it actually I stopped worrying about what everyone thought and started focusing way more on what I needed and how I needed to show up more for myself instead of the outside world and what they were expecting of me.
Yes, exactly. So, before I thought of just bending myself this way or this way,
Yeah.
to be accepted. But the thing I realize is that I'm going around the world, right? And then all the people I bump into are the people I really can make friends with. So I didn't have to become somebody else so I'll be well accepted. So I feel
Mhm.
so relieved. Now I don't have to prove myself. I can be just me, and then the right people or the same kind of people will be attracted. So as a result, I don't have to persuade them into anything. I just enjoy interacting with them.
Why do you think that we had to go through that part of thinking that we needed to prove ourselves?
I think it comes from our instinct, like thousands
Mm,
of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago. We're like, monkeys, like we just used to be in groups. When we get expelled, that means death. So we
mm,
we wanted to be liked, we wanted to be well received, otherwise we'll be, kicked out of the herd. That would means like death. That's what we are afraid of. So as a group mentality, we want to belong, to the group. That is, it's deep rooted in psychology. It doesn't really matter if you're an American, or European, or African, Indian, Japanese, Chinese. You need to belong in the group.
And do you feel like the feeling of death or the expression of a vision quest or going through that awakening is an imperative part of recognizing that there's nothing to fear?
You know, I think our original fear is getting kicked out of the family, right? So that because that would be the first group. So, like Japanese people people are terrified of being kicked out of the group. Not as much. American people, European people don't have the same dynamics. So, for example, Japan is more homogeneous. So once you're out, like they'll be they will they have no future. But in America, for example, when once you get kicked out of one group, you can find your tribe easily, right? So I think cultural difference plays a big role too. And look at me, a guy with a long hair, no suit, flashy shirt. I don't really belong to a Japanese group, but I'm okay. So that's why I can give permission to people that you don't need to belong in order to be happy. But I think you need to find your own tribe too, you know.
Well, this is, I think, a part of like the cultural differences, and I think that for us, uh, I really, with with Balanced Media Ventures, I always talk about how we redefine culture
Mm-hmm.
and how it's an imperative importance for us to redefine culture and what that means and what that looks like. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not about actually ever making anybody feel like they're not part of a group, but actually embracing the uniqueness and the differences and getting curious about one another, because there's a reason that you have a different way of being than the culture that you've been raised in, or I have a different way of seeing the world than all of these different cultures put together. And so I'm super curious about this because I think that there's a lot of presence that happens if we start to listen more to one another's wisdom, and then see that, hey, this uniqueness in each individual is actually what cultivates culture, because culture doesn't mean that everybody needs to take it on right away. It
Mm-hmm.
means that the leader of the culture is actually willing to stand tall, even if nobody follows, even if nobody listens. And as a result, those higher ethics, those higher principles, those higher values is what will show up. And as a result, people then eventually will see why that leader or those leaders or that group decided to go on that journey.
Yeah. I agree with you. And so you can find who you are first, and then find your own tribe. And so whatever you do, people will love you no matter what. So I think finding your own tribe is the most important thing in the modern society, because your tribe may not live right next door. So the funny thing is, I I I have a deeper conversation with somebody thousands of miles away than my neighbor. So, which is kind of weird, but that's our reality, isn't it?
It's fascinating, isn't it? And the frequency that we decide to live on is so high and is so resounding for each other's resonance. And as a result, we can have this encouraging conversation that then also impacts a lot of people's lives versus, talking about something that isn't as meaningful to both of us.
Yeah, yeah. So, whoever's watching or listening to this, you may need a little courage to get out of your own tribe if your tribe is not really kind to you, or you feel like you have this funny feeling that you don't really fit in, I think you don't have to get out now, but you have to start looking. And then find, I hope by the end of your life, or hopefully in the middle of your life, you find your own tribe and just flourish.
And figure out together how to make things work, because I think that's the fun part too. Hey, Ken, is like
Hmm.
seeking ways to build new things and figure out new solutions and take on new challenges, and doing that with each other in a new way of whether it's expanding business or helping people and giving, and using our energy as a force for good, so that we can continue to step into a meaningful purpose as a result of leaving, now we get to pass on this awareness to our children. We get to create a new way of believing because we've done the work on ourselves, and as a result we want to continue to pass that mission forward.
Yes, yes, exactly. So I always teach in my seminar that just shoot up your smoke signal.
Mm,
This is me. And then when somebody sees a small signal, they come to you. That's why I started doing it 21 years ago when I started writing my book. Uh, the editor said, that you have no chance. I wanted to write on happiness and money, but the editor said, just look at the spiritual section or philosophy section. There's, this religion, and look at this business section. There's money, invest in business. There's no section that just deals with those two themes. I thought that means that I have a great new market, but he thought there's no market. And it
mm,
reminds me of a salesperson in Africa many years ago, that when a shoe salesman came from America, and this African country, nobody was wearing shoes. So this first guy just got depressed and then went home. And the second guy came in and just saw a great opportunity. Nobody's wearing shoes, send as many shoes as possible because people are going to wear shoes. So when you look at the situation and there's no market, it could be your market. So find what excites you the most. When you get super excited that people are not ready. Like I remember Steve Jobs said he doesn't do any marketing because people cannot get excited about the things they've never seen.
mm,
So that's how I feel about my books. My books
mm.
have been written on happiness and money and how to bridge it. I haven't seen many in English yet, so I'm going to keep translating a lot of my books that I wrote for the past 20 years.
And I hope that it continues to flourish. Well, I know it's going to continue to flourish, because happiness and money are something that I believe need to be more congruent with each other in language with one another.
Mhm.
When I was, traveling around the world, and you could see some of the most happiest people with not enough money. And I believe that, like, that they have inherent abundance. They have inherent ways of showing up in the world with joy and happiness and dedication and devotion. They don't have the tools to understand how they can actually use that for applying money, because there's such deep money trauma, and they're not willing to, or not, maybe they're willing, but they don't know how. They don't have the tools or the resources or the people around them to educate them about the importance of how that can become together by offering such a valuable service, such a valuable, meaningful thing that they're absolutely passionate about. They know that they can deliver, they know that they can serve. And so as a result, it's like they don't actually truly believe it, because they're not able to take care of themselves. They're still in that survival mechanism.
Mhm.
And the work that you do, Ken, is so important. And I'm excited to help in any which way and shape and form, because this is money and happiness is something that will change the paradigm of our current generation, so that we can actually start building more of the new and start focusing on that
Mhm.
versus breaking down, the old. It's like we don't need to break anything. We don't even need to talk about the old system. Let's just build the new and focus on building the new. And as a result, that will just kind of fall away.
Mm. Yes, yes. So hopefully, whoever's watching this, just start thinking of money for them. And then if you have a negative belief around money, I hope you start healing one by one, because money can be so much fun and money can help you so many ways. And then your money can help other people too. So if you feel like you have more than enough, you can start sharing what you have. That will bring happiness to you as well. And if you have a hard time making both ends meet, you have to be aware what you're doing, because there are only too many problems in you. One, you're making, oh, that's funny. Like, look at
Yay!
this. One, you make too little, and two, you spend too much. So you have to make more money and you have to spend less. That way you make a little money. You have little money each month, and then you can change your financial destiny. So if you're spending too much, you have to have a control about your spending. My suggestion is ask yourself this: if I don't buy this now, or if I don't buy this today, am I going to die tomorrow? I'm going to say it again. If I don't buy this today, am I going to die tomorrow? Most cases you don't, because you don't need a new pair of shoes. You don't need the newest iPhones. You don't need the new car uh, while you're struggling. But a lot of people who are struggling with money, they tend to buy um, unnecessary things that they are not going to use. So you have to have financial issues under control. And after that, you can make both ends meet, and you have a little money left every month, and then the gap will become bigger, and you have more money at the end of every month, and you can start saving. And meanwhile, you just change your job or do something that excites you more, that will pay you more. So if you start doing that in a matter of 3 years, you find financial comfortableness. And if you do it right, you can be financially independent in 5 to 10 year time.
Beautiful. I think there's so much wisdom that you bring. Not I think I know, but I can see it. It's so important. And these little tools, is there anywhere that if anyone's listening, where is the best way to find any more resources on things or ways that they can connect with you, your seminars, and different things that you're doing around the world?
Thank you. So I just start going around the world again. I start my tour in Asia, Europe, and America. So you can find all the information at kenhonda.com, K-E-N, Honda as in a car, even though I drive Toyota, to be honest, kenhonda.com, and you can find all the information.
Amazing, amazing. Brother, so I have one last question for you before we
Yes.
go.
Okay.
If you had 3 days left to live, what would you do?
I'll definitely make a few videos and also a few essays on the most important thing in life. And then I'll just leave that as my legacy, and I'll spend the rest of my time with my family and friends, and I'll just enjoy my last minute, and I'll do a countdown party, and then, okay, I'm gonna die in 5 minutes. This is my last broadcast, and I'm with my family and all my friends, and I want them to celebrate with me.
I love it. Beautiful. And you said that you would say what's the most important thing in life in that essay. And what would you say that is right now?
I think in one word, do what matters most in your life. and every second counts. So I hope you start doing it now, and then keep doing more. You may not be able to do everything that's like starting tomorrow, but you can increase the amount of time and minutes of what you want to do, and make it longer. And hopefully, in a matter of time, the whole day will be filled with so much love and fun. So I'm just wishing all the best for you. I'm sending lots of happy money energy for you.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for listening to the Resilient Minds. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please make sure to go comment and like and follow us on iTunes or Spotify, and please make sure that if you really love this, to share this episode, and make sure that you're inviting all your friends to like it as we continue to unfold what the beauty of our minds does. More importantly, how powerful our heart level of intelligence can be when we combine our heart and our brain together. And more importantly, make sure you take the time to take a look at what we're doing at Balanced Media Ventures and how we can actually really support you in doubling your impact, your income, and your influence, and how you can bring your life's greatest vision into your purpose and create it from that level of reality. Talk to you soon.